So, in bringing yourself to the mat, whatever support you choose, it could be a rolled up blanket or a bolster or a cushion. And you can use also a rolled yoga mat. That's also quite useful. It's along the length of the spine, just allowing your head to rest down either to the floor or to the support. And reach your arms away from you. So here, just spend a couple of moments checking how comfortable you are in this position. And it might be that it feels not so comfortable in your low back, in which case you can bend your knees and place your feet on the floor, and that might make the low back a little bit more comfortable. And it might be that the support's too high and you need to give yourself something a bit lower to lie on. If in any doubt, just lying flat on the floor is okay for this exercise. If you're comfortable, and certainly after a few moments, you might feel that your back settles into this new pattern, this new shape, and you can extend your legs away from you. But if that doesn't happen, it's okay to leave them bent for this practice. Here, we're trying to create a passive opening of the front of the body, a passive stretch, which means that we need to relax as much as possible here. So the arms are resting away from the body, just allowing the elbows to soften towards the floor, the front of the shoulders to broaden, so that bit at the top of the chest, the heads of the shoulders, these knobbly bits at the front, just softening back and down. Maybe you have a sense of the sides of the body falling towards the floor, draping around your support. Trying to relax the fingers, the arms, the shoulders. Relaxing the abdominal muscles, there's no need to hold them or create any activity there. Relaxing the legs if you need to give them a little shimmer or a shake. And then really letting the weight of the head go down so that you can soften the activation of the muscles in the neck. We want to relax the neck, relax the forehead, the area around the eyes, and especially the tongue and the jaw. And when you feel that you're softened here, you can begin to develop your breath. So developing a deeper breath. Breathing, feeling the structures in the front of the body lifting, opening, creating space for the breath to flow into. And as you breathe out, maybe just gently engaging the muscles between the ribs, the intercostal muscles, to draw the rib cage a little bit down. Breathing in, opening, lifting the breath into the chest, into the whole of the lungs. Breathing out, softening, relaxing, releasing. Keep your breath moving long and slow and deep. Have a sense of the breath filling all of the space in the back of the body, the sides of the body, the front of the body. This is a lovely stretch to do For anyone who feels strain or tiredness in the low back, it helps the low back find its more natural shape. And at the same time, it allows us to release tension from the shoulders and the chest. So at the end of your next exhalation, you're just going to begin to prepare to move. So here, we're going to bend the knees and place the feet on the floor. So if you haven't got your legs like that, you can draw your legs to being like this. We want to create a little bit of effort here in the abdominal muscles and draw the arms towards each other, but up at the ceiling. So arms lengthened in front of you, in front of your chest, reaching up, with the head still supported and a little bit of engagement in the tummy muscles. We're going to focus on that space behind the shoulder blade. So reaching your left hand up towards the ceiling, feel your left shoulder lift forward. And then with the shoulder blade and the back of the shoulder, draw your shoulder back down, maybe even pressing against the support or pressing into the floor if you're flat on the floor. We're reaching the left hand up, lifting the shoulder, lifting the chest, the back of the body, perhaps away from your support, and then drawing your shoulder back down, finding that upper back molding around your support or pressing into the floor. Reaching forward and up, and then drawing the shoulder back down, pressing it back down behind you. Reaching up, drawing the shoulder back down. One more like this, reaching up, drawing the shoulder back down. And then bring the left arm to a neutral position. Let that left side relax. We'll do the same thing with the right. Reach the right hand up to the ceiling, keeping the arm nice and long. And then with the back of the body, draw the shoulder and the shoulder blade and the upper back towards your support, towards the floor. Reaching away and up. Reaching the right shoulder back down towards the floor. Reaching up to the sky, drawing the shoulder back and down, reaching up, drawing the shoulder back and down. One more like this, reaching up, drawing the shoulder back and down. And then very gently, just allowing the arms to drift out to the side. And give yourself just another moment to let any effort in the front of the body relax and release. And let the shoulders find their way back into that beautiful passive opening stretch as well. We'll take a deep breath in and sigh out through your mouth. Very good. So, firming the belly muscles and just rolling to one side. You just want to come off your support enough that you can move it out of the way and then roll back onto your back. So now the back takes a moment to find its more neutral position or a sort of lengthened position against the floor. Allow the arms to be resting away from the body. And give your body a moment to rebound from that passive opening of the front of the body. If you need to here, if you have any feelings of effort or tension in the low back, it's quite nice to press into the feet, lift your hips just off the floor, and then shake your tail from side to side. Shaking, jiggling, everything that wobbles should be wobbling, and then release down. I've just managed to wiggle my microphone free, so apologies. I'm just going to check. Lovely job. Okay, so here we're going to do that same stretch or that same practice with the arms over the chest. So reaching the arms in front of you, left hand first, reaching the left hand up to the ceiling, and then drawing the shoulder back down, pressing the back of the shoulder down into the floor. Reaching up to the ceiling with the left hand, and then pressing the shoulder back down into the floor. Reaching up and gliding the shoulder down, pressing down. We'll swap to the right side or to the opposite side. Reaching the right hand up, gliding the shoulder down, press the back of the shoulder into the floor. Reaching the right hand up, lifting the shoulder, gliding the shoulder back down, pressing down into the floor. Reaching up, and then gliding down, pressing down into the floor. And then here, just dropping the arms across the chest so that the hands come to either side of the body, or to the opposite side of the body, sorry. And we're just stretching out some of the effort we've made here, taking a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Anytime you feel you need to sigh, it's a really good way to release tension from the throat and the chest. So we can take a deep breath in and sigh out through the mouth. One more like this, deep breath in, sighing out through the mouth. Very good. We're going to release the arms away from the body, just turning the palms up and then turning the palms down. Turn the palms up. Notice what happens with your shoulders. Turn the palms down. Turning the palms up. Trying to settle the shoulders on the floor and then crossing the arms over the body the opposite way. And again, taking a few moments here, feeling that length behind the neck, across the top of the shoulders, between the shoulder blades. Taking a few deep breaths. And if you feel inclined, you can sigh out through your mouth as well. Maybe one more, and really let go of anything that you're holding on to here. Very good. We're going to release the arms away from the body. And then we're going to take the arms down by the side and just bring the heels a little bit closer to the buttocks, perhaps. And here, engaging the tummy muscles a touch, we're trying to press down with the backs of the shoulders, the arms, and the palms of the hands. So we create a kind of brace into the floor, an action, a lever action, which we can use to lift the body. We're moving into a dynamic bridge pose. So with the activation of your arms and shoulders down, a little bit of engagement in the tummy muscles. Breathe in as you gently lift your hips up. Doesn't matter how high they come up to, we're moving gently. And breathing out as you release your hips down. Breathing in and up, engaging perhaps in the pelvic floor. Breathing out and down. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and down. Breathing in and up. Breathing out and down. This time we're going to breathe in and come up and see if we can hold for a deep breath in at the top. And a deep breath out. And then as you inhale, maybe lift the hips just a touch higher. And as you exhale, release all the way down. At the bottom of this movement, we're going to let the feet come slightly away from the buttocks. And just wave the knees from side to side. So what we're trying to figure out is what's making the effort in the body here. So if you have a lot of effort in the hamstrings in the back of the thigh, it usually means that your buttocks aren't doing quite enough work in this posture. So we're going to focus this time our dynamic bridge focused on the buttocks working to lift the hips. So arms are pressing down, shoulders, backs of the shoulders pressing down to keep the chest open. A little bit of movement maybe in the neck just to release any tension there. And then bringing the head back to center, firming the heels and the toes into the floor, firming the belly muscles, squeezing the buttocks before you start. So engage the buttocks, feel that they almost lift the hips up, and then inhale, keeping that action as you lift the hips up, and exhale down. See if you can keep the action in the buttocks without releasing them to relaxedness, and then inhaling up and exhaling down. Notice if your knees come apart as you inhale up, try to keep them towards each other, and exhaling down. We'll do one more, inhaling up, feeling that engagement in the buttocks, and exhaling down. Very good. And at the bottom of this movement, we're going to lengthen the legs along the mat and just wave the feet from one side to the other, like you were waving at somebody you can't see. Aces. Then we're going to bring the feet back and put them underneath the knees. They don't have to be really close to the buttocks. If you were doing a full bridge pose where you wanted to hold onto your ankles, then feet close to the buttocks is really useful. But we're not aiming for that today. So we're going to have the feet wherever is comfortable for you. And then this time we're going to use our arms a little bit as well. So as you inhale and lift the hips up, remembering to squeeze the buttocks, we're going to lift the arms up as well. And the arms can come all the way over to wherever is the end of your movement. Could be hands on the floor. It might be hands slightly off the floor. And then exhale the arms down to the sides and the hips down to the floor at the same time. Inhaling, lifting the hips, focused on squeezing the buttocks, lengthening the arms up over the head. And exhaling, releasing the hands and the hips to the floor. Keep moving with your breath. See if you can coordinate the breath and the movement together so that your hands touch down as your hips reach their highest point, and so that your hands touch down at the sides just as your hips come to the floor and you finish your exhalation. We'll do 2 more like this, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Leaving your arms over your head, and breathe out as you reach your hips back down to the floor, releasing them down. And then here, we're going to leave the arms where they are and lengthen the legs again. That just helps to create a little bit of length, perhaps, if those hamstrings have been working quite hard. And then lengthen your right heel and right toes away from each other. Feel that stretch down the right side of the body. And release. Lengthen the left heel and the left fingers away from each other. And release. One more to each side. Lengthen the right foot and hand away from each other. And release. Lengthen the left foot and hand away from each other. And release. Very good. Leaving the arms where they are, bending the feet and placing the heels back on the floor. This time we're going to press down with the backs of the arms, the backs of the hands, the shoulders, firm the belly, firm the buttocks, breathe in and lift up into a bridge pose and hold only if you feel comfortable. So if you're happy up here, you can hold. If you would prefer to keep going up and down, you can keep going up and down. See if you can activate the big toes down into the mat, the pads of the big toes. And notice how that feels across the inside of the knee and the calf muscles and the inner thighs. And then very gently releasing the hips down. And we're going to release the arms down as well. So the arms that have been up for quite a long time, release the arms down to the side. Very good. So now holding onto your mat. You don't have to hold onto your mat. If you're not using a mat, just pressing the arms down into the floor, it's no problem at all. Firm in the belly, firm in the buttocks, and we're going to bring the feet a little bit closer together. So your feet might not touch, but perhaps your thighs touch or your knees touch. And this time breathing in and coming up, just feel the difference of working with the feet closer together, and breathing out, releasing down. Being sure that you're working in the buttocks, and then this time we're going to hold. So breathe in, coming up, holding, and if you've got your arms on your mat, you can hold onto your mat. We want to roll the shoulder blades towards each other. So see if you can tuck your shoulders underneath your body a little bit. And if you're used to holding a bridge in this position, you might want to interlace your fingers. But holding onto the mat's really quite nice because you still get that activation of the arms downwards. So we're trying to press the arms down to the floor, really press down with the backs of the shoulders. We're going to create a little bit of effort across the tummy muscles, and only if you want to add something to your practice, extending one leg away from you. So it's just untucking the heel from the floor, extending one leg away. We'll place that foot back down again, and we'll try to adjust ourselves for a more neutral position. Firm in the buttocks, firm in the belly, extend the opposite leg away from you. And releasing down. We'll come back to the center. We're going to lift the hips as much as you feel able to, lifting the chest towards the chin rather than thinking about lifting the hips all the way up to the ceiling, although that does happen too. Deep breath in here. Deep breath out. And then when you're ready, come up onto your tiptoes, release your hands, and just uncurl your spine, releasing the shoulders on the way down as you lengthen the back all the way down to the floor. And once it's all the way down to the floor, you place your feet flat, turn your palms open, feet now about just over hip width apart. Soften the shoulders into the floor, really relax the effort there. We're going to sway the knees from side to side. So a little bit of effort in the tummy muscles as you let the knees come down to one side, return to center, and then to the opposite side. Just keep swaying side to side. They don't need to come all the way to the floor. It can be a much smaller movement. If you're so inclined, you can turn your head at the same time, but to the opposite side. So if the knees go to the right, the head goes to the left. Very good. We'll do a couple more to each side. And then we're going to return to center and bend the knees into the chest. Hug them towards you. I'm just checking on my microphone again, which seems to go astray on these trousers. I apologize. Okay, so knees into the chest, just hugging them towards you, making any movements that feel good. You can circle the knees. You might like to do one knee and then the other in circles, trying to massage that area in the low back that's done lots of work. And stretch it out a little bit as well. And then bringing the knees back to the center, we're going to exhale the head towards the knees and inhale, releasing down. Exhale the head towards the knees. Inhale, releasing down. We'll do one more. Exhaling. Inhale, releasing down. And then from here, just floating one foot to the floor and then the other. And we're going to lengthen the legs away from us so that we're lying down flat on our back with the legs extended and hands down by the side. So it's really important when we do work in yoga that we balance our lengthening with strengthening. And so now we're going to strengthen the muscles of the front of the body that have just been lengthened in that bridge pose. So arms pressing down, shoulders pressing down behind you. Firm the belly muscles just a touch. Inhale your right leg up so it's long and straight and heel up towards the ceiling. Exhale, draw that knee into your chest, hug it towards you, lengthen your low back. Inhale, lengthen your right leg up to the ceiling again. And exhale, long straight leg slowly to the floor. Left side. Inhale, lengthen the left leg up. Exhale, knee into the chest, hug the knee towards you. Inhale, lengthen the left leg up. And exhale, lengthen the leg down to the floor. Right side, inhaling up. Exhaling, knee to chest. Inhaling, straightish leg. Exhaling down. Inhaling left. Exhale, knee to chest. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. One more to each side, inhaling right. Exhaling, knee to chest. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Inhaling left. Exhaling, knee to chest. Inhaling up. And exhaling down. Very good. So now we've done that. That's quite activating for the low abdominals. We're going to place the feet on the floor again. And we're going to draw the arms out to the side and then wrap them over the shoulder, over the chest, just as we did at the beginning. And then if you can here, keep the upper arms together and bring the backs of the hands or the palms of the hands together in a sort of Garudasana eagle arms. If that doesn't work, it doesn't matter. You can have the hands draped towards the floor. So whichever of these positions suits you best. I've got a little bit too much body lotion on for this to feel terribly comfortable, but I'll give it a go on this side. So we're going to press the low back a little bit down towards the mat, firm the belly muscles and the pelvic floor, and then just lift our chest and head up to look towards the knees. Then we're going to make 5 circles with the elbows, circling the elbows, keeping the head and the chest, head and shoulders, sorry, off the floor. And then we'll go in the opposite direction, circling the opposite way as well. Feel the activation in your abdominal muscles. Quite tough to talk and do this at the same time. Fortunately, you don't have to. We'll come back to the center, drop the head down, release the arms down to the sides, and then release the arms back to the floor. Here, just gently turning the head from one side to the other, really slowly. If we make movements like that are slow and steady, it's much more effective to release tension from the body. Then we'll come back to the center. We'll do the same thing on the other side. So crossing the arms the opposite way around. Just draping the hands towards the floor to begin with, feeling that connection with the upper back. If you want to, you can bring your hands into Garudasana. If you prefer not to, then just leave them by the side. It doesn't matter either way. Firm the belly, firm the pelvic floor, and lift the head and the shoulders off the floor. And then make 5 circles, as if you were drawing the circles with the elbows. Feeling the activation of those abdominal muscles. And the opposite way. I've lost count. One more. And then coming back to the center, dropping the head and the shoulders down, relaxing the arms and relaxing the backs of the hands to the mat as you stretch the arms away from you. And here, before we move again, just doing a little gentle twisting posture again. So firm in the belly muscles, letting the knees sway to one side and then to the other. And swaying side to side, maybe with the head as well. When you're ready, coming back to your center, drawing the knees into the chest, hugging them towards you, making any movements that feel good to you. And we're going to just spend a few breaths releasing the back, letting the head roll if it wants to roll. If you fancy, you can lengthen the arms and the legs up to the ceiling, give the legs a little bit of a twist in the hip sockets, the arms a little bit of a twist in the shoulder sockets. And then finishing by bringing your head towards your knees and gently rocking backwards and forwards through the length of the spine until you come up into sitting or standing. I'm sorry, I've lost my mic. Avril, I promise I did put the tape on, but it seems not to have worked so well today as it did yesterday. Not to worry. Okay, guys, so we're going to come up into standing. Apologies for that. Tape is here. Just pop it over there. Okay, so it's quite nice to do things in different positions in yoga. Balanced practice usually has some floor-based practice, some standing-based practice. So we're going to do a little bit of standing here and still use the same principles in our bodies to stabilize and lengthen as well. So to begin with, we just want to find our Tadasana pose. So thinking about your feet on the mat or on the floor, spreading the toes out, maybe lifting the toes off the floor to begin with, spreading them out, then big toes down and other toes as individually as possible to the mat. And when you feel like you've got the toes spreading away from you, not gripping the mat too firmly, then feeling that lift from the center of the foot to the crown of the head. And notice what your shoulders are doing here. So the position of the head is very important with regard to what the shoulders do. So if your head is slightly dropped forward, which for many of us it is, what happens is the trapezius muscles engage here in the top part and they lift the shoulders to compensate because the muscles of the neck aren't really designed to hold the head perpetually in front of the body. So if we can center our head back over the spine to hold the weight of the head more centrally on the body, we can drop the shoulders back and open this space at the front of the chest. And one of the really nice ways to do that, or to help with that, is to turn the palms forwards. So notice if you turn your hands to face the palms backwards, they get that rounding of the upper back almost naturally, that movement of the head of the humerus bone forwards. So we can turn the palms open, feel that openness in the chest, feel that engagement in the muscles behind the body. And so we want to train these muscles here to activate so that we can create strength here and lengthen the front of the body. And we did this motion on the floor with our shoulders, and that's what we're doing. So we're going to do that standing as well. So standing with your arms in front of you, your feet are still in your good Tadasana alignment. Standing with the arms in front of you, lengthening the right hand forward, and then drawing the shoulder back behind you. Lengthening the right arm forward, drawing the shoulder back behind you. Let's do it on the left as well, lengthening the left arm forward, arm is long and straight, drawing the shoulder back, lengthening the left arm straight, drawing the shoulder back. And so we can do this with the hands together, with the palms together, around about shoulder height, slightly lower if you prefer. And you're going to try to not move the arms, as in not bend them or move them in this way, and simply slide your palm in front of the hand that's going to stay still. So we'll start with the right side. So sliding your right palm in front of the left and drawing it back behind. Now you may have a little bit less movement going backwards and forwards, depending on how open that space at the front and the back of the body is for you. Okay, so we're trying to stabilize the left side, not really move the left side, just move the right forward and back. We'll do the same thing on the left. So moving the hand ahead and drawing the arm back. And whilst the palms are moving past each other, it's that space in the shoulders that's working. Aces. Very good. We'll do one more on this side. And then bring your palms back together and just turn the palms open as you float the hands back down to the sides. When you do that, you notice just how much work that is. So rolling the shoulders to release. And if you need to, you can move with your neck as well. We can roll in both directions. Super duper. So it's about time we did something to lengthen. Once we've done some stabilizing, some lengthening is good. So we're going to take the hands and interlace the fingers behind the body. And here, if this is uncomfortable, then you can actually use something like a belt or a towel or something between the hands. But if you can interlace your fingers, keeping the palms towards each other, and then roll the shoulder blades towards each other to open the chest. And once you've done that, if you can keep your palms together, that's great. If you have your palms slightly further apart, that's okay. Try not to sag into the wrists too much. It's a little bit too much length for them there. So we're going to roll the shoulders towards each other, and then we're trying to lengthen the arms. So lengthening the arms, notice how that feels in the front of the body. If you feel inclined, you can lift your chin slightly. Try not to drop the head backwards, but lifting the chin. Taking a few deep breaths into this real open space you've created just underneath the rib cage at the front, underneath the sternum. And then gently releasing the arms back to the front. Oh, roll in the shoulders again. This one's a big one, hey? Okay, so we're going to do a balance now that puts together some of the things that we've been using. I apologize, I keep standing off the mat into a place where my feet don't show. I call this flying angel. It's a little bit like Natarajasana. It's the dancer pose, so it's similar but different. And you can do the dancer pose with this pose if you want to. So find a point of focus that's not moving ahead of you, and take your weight onto your left leg first. We're going to take the right foot and place it just behind so that the toes are on the floor, but the hips are pointing in the same direction, still pointing forwards. You're standing on your left leg. Your left arm, you're going to raise in front of you with the palm facing forward. No, that's wrong. We're going to raise the left arm to the side with the palm facing out to the side. Palm facing forward, sorry. And right arm up with the palm facing forward. And here, we want to create a sense of a lift. So we're going to draw the shoulder blades towards each other to lift in the chest, firm in the belly, and just float the back foot off the floor. Use your point of focus. Breathe deeply here. And then from here, if you want to, you can lift the back leg a little higher and take the right hand behind you a little bit more and see if that feels good. Breathing as you hold, try not to lock your left standing leg. And when you're ready, you can gently float the right foot to the floor and float the arms back down to the body. Take a moment when you finish your practice to observe the return to your neutral spot. And then we'll do the same thing on the other side. So standing on the right leg, taking the left foot and placing the toes behind you, lifting the right arm up, lifting the right arm out to the side, palm facing forward, lifting the left arm up, palm facing forward. Create that sense of lift, and perversely, by drawing the shoulder blades down, creating that sense of lift in the front of the body, a lift in the abdominal muscles, a lift in the crown of the head, and you're just gently floating the back leg off the floor, using your point of focus, your soft gaze. Breathing here. You can always use a wall for a little bit of support. If you want to, you can raise the left leg a little bit higher, take the left arm, a little bit back, opening the chest a little bit more on this side. Breathing. And then floating the left foot back to the floor and the arms down to the side. Very good. So you maybe feel that sense of length in the front of the body, and you almost certainly feel where you've made effort down the sides of the back as well. So to release that, we need to move the body in a different way. And we're going to do a gentle side stretch. I can see Jenny has already done that. We'll do a gentle side stretch to release some of that effort from the sides of the body, and then we'll do a nice forward bend. So take your left foot in front of your right foot. So you're crossing the feet at the ankles. We'll reach the arms out and up. We're going to catch hold of the left wrist with the right hand, and then firm in the belly, just gently ease the left hand towards the right side. And ease the length down that left side of the body. So pressing the left foot firmly into the floor, both feet firmly into the floor, hopefully. Deep breath in here, and a deep breath out. We're going to breathe in to come up, and breathe out as we release the arms to the side and uncross the legs. Notice if that maybe feels a little bit easier on that side of the body. And then crossing the feet in the opposite direction. So right foot in front of left, crossed at the ankles. Breathe in, reach the arms out and up. Catch hold of the right wrist with the left hand. And then just gently, really gently pulling that right hand over to the left side. Feeling that length down that right side of the body. Pressing the right foot into the floor. Breathing as you hold. Don't bounce, Jenny. Lovely. Breathing in as you come up, and breathing out as you step the feet apart, releasing the arms down to the side and wriggle in your shoulders. Awesome sauce. Now, if you struggle with, if you know that your hamstrings aren't quite so long, you might need some sort of block or support for this next practice. So taking your feet wide apart, we're going to do a wide leg forward bend. And so if you need a block in front of you in the center of your, in between your feet, but slightly forward is quite good. So for a wide leg forward bend, if you are naturally turned out, and I know some of you are, you might prefer to do this with your feet turned out a little bit. If you can easily do this with your feet pointing forwards, then that's great. And you can use anything for support. It could be the seat of your sofa, it could be a chair, a cushion, a book, and you might not need it at all. So in this position, breathe in, take the arms wide, open the chest, and as you breathe out, fold forward from the hips. When you're about parallel to the floor, halfway down, dropping the hands to whatever support you have. So you create length in the arms, length in the torso, length in the legs. And then just spending a few breaths here, feeling the back of the body a little bit. So you might need to paddle a little bit in your feet. You might need to keep your knees a little bit bent here. That's fine too. Negotiate for that sense of length. Maybe all of your weight is in your heels. Maybe you want some more in your toes. And then if you feel that you can come a little bit lower down. So coming to whatever feels good to you in terms of a forward bend. And again, just checking that your weight's not all in your heels. It puts too much tension across the hamstrings. So move your weight a little bit into your toes as well, so it's more evenly balanced across the whole foot. In the center, if it feels good, you can just gently turn your head from side to side. And if you feel like your shoulders have crept all the way up to close the space down the sides of the neck, then you can gently use that action that we've been doing all class to draw the shoulder blades down, creating a little bit more length down the sides of the neck. And here we're going to bend the left knee and just gently ease a bit of length through the inner right thigh. Come back to the center and then bend through the right knee, ease a bit of length underneath or into the left inner thigh. Coming back to the center, we're going to lift. So we're back in that parallel position with the arms long, the legs long, the torso long. Leave your right hand on the floor and breathe in as you sweep your left hand to the left, opening your chest to the left, twisting to the left. Breathing out as you come back to the center. Breathing in as you come to the right, lifting the right arm, twisting to the right, opening the right side of the chest. Breathing out back to the center. Breathing into the left, twisting. Breathing out back to center. Breathing into the right, twisting. Breathing out back to center. One more to each side, breathing in. Breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. And then here in the center, we're going to make the knees nice and bouncy and then jump the feet together and come into a little crouch. And if your crouch is less crouchy, that's okay. But if you can crouch all the way down, then that's great. We're up on tiptoes and bring the arms in front of us. So we're balancing with the arms out in front on the tiptoes. And if you're not in this position, that's fine. If you are in this position, just press all the way up into standing. If you're a little bit less crouched, it's the same process. Arms in front, pressing through the legs up into standing. Relax the arms down to the side. Wiggle in the body in any way that feels good. Super duper. Okay, so I'm just checking on the time here. But I think we've got time to do most things I anticipated. However, I need to have a drink of water. So if it's a good opportunity to stop for a drink of water if you'd like one as well. Mine's over here. And just, lovely. Andy bought some oak honey and it's just absolutely divine. So that's what we've been having in our water the last few days. Okay, so we have been doing this opening of the chest and we're going to practice now Utkatasana, which is the chair pose. And I'll do this sideways on, but you can do it front ways onto your mat if you like. So the feet are underneath the hips, hip width apart. And we're going to take the hands to the hips to open the chest. Draw the shoulder blades back, feel a lift in the belly muscles, and then release the arms to the sides. You can, if you want to, turn your palms to face a little bit forward and see if that feels okay. Check the position of your head, keeping it nice and free. And then to do Utkatasana in this posture, in this position, sorry, we simply bend the knees, keeping the heels on the floor. And then once the knees are bent, we've pretty much got the buttocks over the heels. We're going to sweep the arms forward and up. So it can be palms facing forward, which will end up with palms facing behind you, if that feels good, or simply palms facing each other, no worries. Here, try to think about lifting the belly muscles to stabilize the front of the body. And then we're going to play with the position of the pelvis. So tuck the tailbone under and then lengthen the tailbone away from you. So we're just as we did in our bridge pose, dynamically moving, sorry, it's an unnecessary turn of phrase. Moving that space in the low back, backwards and forwards, keeping very strong in the abdominal muscles, feeling the activation of the buttocks, maybe then a little release in the buttocks. And then find your neutral spot between these 2 points. And see if you can draw your shoulder blades down to open the chest a little bit more. So you don't want to be sticking your bottom out as much as it goes. Want a neutral spine, but opening the chest a little bit more. Deep breath in, deep breath out. We're going to inhale, lengthen the arms up, lengthen the legs, turn the palms and float the hands down as we exhale, arms down to the sides. And then here, probably need a little bit of a wriggle through the shoulders. And we're going to do chair pose one more time. So same process, firming in the belly muscles, turning the palms forward if you can to activate that space behind the shoulder blades, open the chest, keep the head in a neutral position, breathing in here, breathing out, bending just the knees, breathing in, reaching the arms forward and up to wherever feels good for you. If your shoulders are tired, then you can just drop your hands to Namaste, and it's perfectly acceptable, still keeping the chest open. And then here, try and find that neutral spine again. You might need to wriggle yourself a few times if you're still getting used to where neutral is for you. Drawing the shoulder blades down to open the chest, find a point of focus, and then float yourself up onto your tiptoes. Breathe as you hold, releasing whenever you need to, of course. But if you can, holding for one more deep breath in, one more deep breath out, and then float the heels to the floor. Inhale, reach up, lengthening arms and legs, turn the palms, exhale, arms down to the sides. And then wriggle and schmiggle. Get yourself all wriggled out. Super duper. So you'll be very pleased to know that that ends the standing up part of the class, and we're going to come to lie down on our bellies now. So it doesn't matter how you get to the floor, but you might want to just do it nice and gently. And if you need to give yourself a little child's pose on the way down, you can do, of course. But for those of you who don't want to, just spending a couple of breaths there if you do. But if you don't want to, coming down to rest your forehead on the back of your hands, or you can rest one ear to the mat with the arms down by the sides, whichever feels more restful for you. Lying on your tummy now for everybody, we want to find a comfortable spot that we will call our sort of restorative relaxation pose in between this prone back bending series. So here, notice what happens if you bring your heels towards each other. And notice what happens if you take your heels apart. So do this a few times. First, notice what happens in the backs of the legs and the buttocks as you bring your heels towards each other.
outside edge of the thighs working as well. If you take your heels apart, feel that sense of release. Then take your awareness into your low back. Bring the heels towards each other. You can feel the beginnings of tension, closing space in the low back with the heels together. And as you take your heels apart, feel a sense of easing. So your toes don't need to touch. They can be quite far apart. We want the heels to be resting out to the sides, because for most people, that is the most relaxed their low back will be. If you're built differently, then place your feet in the position that suits you the best. Relax all of the effort from your shoulders, your face, your abdomen. Allow the legs to be very quiet and soft. And find that long, deep breath that you did at the beginning of the class. But breathing now into the back body. Finding the space under the armpits. Behind the chest. At the back of the rib cage. If your back is ever tired, this is the most restorative pose that you can do. It allows your back to maintain its natural S curve. Takes all of the load off your pelvis. Allows the postural supporting muscles to relax. Combined with a deep breath, it can be extremely restorative. And it would be lovely to stay here, but
We can't. We're going to do some other things. Okay, so I nearly got carried away there. So if you bring yourself into a position where you can see, you might prop yourself up on your fists or hold your head in your hands for a few moments, or just simply look forward. Make sure that you're not going to strain your neck to do that. So when we work in back bending, prone back bend, we want the feet to be towards each other. It's the thighs we're more interested in bringing together rather than the heels, the thighs towards each other. We want to press down with the pubic bone so we create space and length here in the low back and really activate in the belly muscles. So if you bring yourself into this position, thighs towards each other, pubic bone pressing downwards, belly muscles activated, and we're going to reach the arms away from the body over the head. So the palms are on the floor, forehead on the floor. And you're going to drag your fingertips towards you, thinking about activating that space underneath the shoulder blades. And then release your fingertips away from you, reach them further away from you, feel the shoulder blades maybe lift up the back slightly. And then drag the shoulder blades down, drawing the fingertips down towards you, reaching the hands away. Shoulder blades lift, and then dragging the fingers back towards you, shoulder blades engage back and down. So we want this kind of motion to stabilize that space behind the chest. So keeping the shoulder blades back and down, and the hands in their lowest position, really focusing on activating the tummy muscles, pressing the pubic bone down. Inhale and lift your arms, head, and chest up. Exhale, release them down, keeping the shoulder blades back and down. Inhaling, arms, head, and chest up. Exhale, releasing down. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. One more. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. From here, leave the head down, take the arms out
in a T position out at shoulder height, either side of the body. Here we can't draw the shoulder blades down in the same way, but we can still activate the shoulder blades down to create a little bit of lift. You feel the top of the chest moving away from the floor. Press the pubic bone down, engage the belly muscles. Inhale, lift arms, chest and head up, feet are down. Exhaling down. Inhaling, lifting arms, chest and head. Exhaling down. Inhaling as you lift, still engaged in the belly. Exhaling down. Inhaling as you lift. Exhaling down. Leaving the forehead on the floor, take the arms down by the sides so the hands are near the hips. And you can either turn the palms upwards. I find that my shoulders drop forward a bit more with that. Or turn the palms towards the body or even downwards, which is what I prefer. Here, pressing the pubic bone down again, engaging the tummy muscles, thighs are still towards each other. And then here, drawing the shoulder blades towards each other again. Inhale as you lift arms, chest and head. Exhaling as you float down. Keep that tummy engaged. Inhaling as you lift. Exhaling as you release. Inhaling as you lift. Exhaling, release. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. At the bottom of the movement, just taking your hands underneath your forehead or turning your head to one side, letting your toes fall towards each other, heels fall apart with the legs a little bit wider, and rock your tailbone from side to side, like you were wagging a tail. Once you've released that sort of sense of tension, if you've had it there, taking a couple of long, deep breaths. Then we're going to bring the thighs towards each other again. Press the pubic bone down again. And this time take the hands underneath the shoulders, maybe slightly in front if you wanted. Behind the chest is a progressive move. So the more cobra pose you do, the lower your hands come until they come to your waist. But we're not interested in doing a full expression of the posture today. We're going to do a dynamic moving one, dynamically moving. And you can have your hands a little bit wider than your mat if that's useful for you. Forehead towards the floor. Feel that you're already lifting the chest a little bit to the top of the chest by drawing the shoulder blades back and down, pubic bone pressing down, tummy muscles engaged. Inhale, lifting the chest and the head up, but leaving the hands down, but with no weight in them. Exhaling down. Inhale, lifting chest and head, and exhaling down. This time we're going to use the hands a little. So we'll inhale to the first position, and then exhale as we press into the hands just a touch. Elbows are still really bent here, and neck is very neutral. And then we're going to exhale all the way down, and forehead to the floor. Let's reposition ourselves. Press the pubic bone down, engage the tummy muscles, draw the shoulder blades towards each other. Inhale as you lift to the first position, then exhale, press into your hands, lift a little higher. And this time, we're just going to spend a moment here and gently move through the upper body. So really firm in the hands, only move as far as feels comfortable for your back. Maybe it's just the head that moves for you. Could be the shoulders. Maybe you want to lift a little higher, but the elbows are always bent and we're always nice and mobile. Nothing stuck, nothing holding. Coming back to the center and then very gently releasing down. Very good. We're going to do the same thing, but with cupcake hands. So fingertips onto the floor, elbows drawn back towards the body, shoulder blades down, pubic bone down, belly muscles engaged. Inhaling, float the head and the chest up, and then exhale as you press into the fingertips,
to come up a little higher. If this is too intense for the hands, just keep the hands on the floor flat. And again, just negotiating this movement of the upper body. You might need a shimmer, you might like a twist, you might like to just open a little higher, moving the head, keeping the neck nice and free, and then gently releasing down. And when you come down this time, really let the heels fall out to the side. Make a pillow out of your hands if that's comfortable. You can turn your head to one side or have your forehead resting. Or if you prefer, you can rest your arms down by your side and one of your ears to the floor. Notice what's been working in your back. Notice the feeling of effort. And see if you can use your breath to release it. If you have your head turned to one side, turn it to the opposite side. If you need to, sigh out through your mouth. Very good. So from here, we're going to come into child's pose, taking the hands underneath the shoulders, firming the belly, coming up through hands and knees. And actually, if you want to do a cat pose, if you want to go straight to child, you can. If you want to do a cat pose, you can do a nice little wiggly cat, wiggling the hips from side to side, or making circles with the body. So you ease tension and effort out of those muscular structures we've been working with. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself back into child's pose. If child's pose isn't very comfortable for you, this is a great opportunity to use your bolster to give you a little bit of lift, or you can practice over a few cushions. If your forehead doesn't come all the way to the floor, you can do two things. You can pop something underneath your bottom, which will give your bottom a little bit of lift and let your forehead come down. Or you can place the hands or the fists underneath the forehead and rest the head down. The most important thing is to find a comfortable position in which you can breathe deeply and just feel that sense of softening in the back of the body. That sense of space between the individual vertebrae in the spine. And then when you're ready, you can bring yourself into a position that you can easily do relaxation from. You might want to put some bits and bobs on. So you might want some warm clothes or a blanket close to hand, because we're going to move down towards the floor for relaxation. So lying onto your back once you've got the bits that you need. And I'll give you a few moments. And those of you who have got everything you need close by, you can just lie in constructive rest, letting the back find its way down to the mat, letting the feet provide a bit of support here for the pelvis. And if it feels good to you, opening the arms wide away from the body. Aces. So the first thing that we're going to do is just see if we can feel that sense of release, that sense of letting go of effort, particularly behind the shoulder blades, tops of the shoulders, perhaps here rolling the head from side to side. Nice slowish movements. And then when you feel like you've got a sense of release there, bending the knees into the chest, hugging them towards you a little bit, making any movements that feel good. So it can feel really nice to stir the knees in circular motions. And the bigger the circle you make, the further around the back you create that massage effect. So take your focus into what you can feel in the back of your body. Feel the back of the body being gently massaged down. You can go in the opposite direction as well. So making wide circles might really help, but making small circles has a very similar effect, but more in the center of the low back. Explore what kind of circles work best for your back. Aces. And then taking the toes together, take the knees apart and hands onto the knees here, and just making big circles with the knees coming together and apart. That works the two sides of the back differently. We'll go in the opposite direction as well. And then without the hands on the knees, maybe with the arms up as well, maybe with the legs up as well, just doing a little bit of rocking side to side, a little bit of discovering with the upper back and the shoulders and the hips, maybe a little bit of rotating in the ankles and the wrists, before drawing the knees into the chest and the feet one at a time down to the floor. So our last posture before relaxation is a spinal twist. So taking the right leg over the left leg, as if you were crossing the legs. Now, if this doesn't work for your hips, you can simply keep the knees side by side. It's not a problem at all. Right leg over left if you can. There's no need to tuck your toe behind. It's just a nice, comfortable cross. Arms released away from the body with the palms turned upwards, if that's where your shoulders are the most relaxed. So if the palms turn downward is good for you, then you can turn the palms downward. Firm the belly muscles, breathing in the center. And as you breathe out, allow the knees to come down to the left side of the body. And it doesn't matter how far they go towards the left, as long as your right shoulder is pretty stabilized towards the floor. It doesn't need to be absolutely pinned to the floor, but stabilized towards the floor is quite good. And you can look towards the right hand with your head if that feels comfortable. If it doesn't feel so comfortable, just keep your head more neutral. Some people prefer to look towards the position of their knees or the side their knees are on, and you can do that too. Here you can explore what feels best by drawing the knees closer to the chest and releasing the knees further away. And you'll find a position that feels like the best twist for you. And when you found that position, just holding for a couple of deep breaths. After your next exhalation, firming the belly muscles, drawing the head to center if it isn't already, and then with firm belly muscles, bringing the knees back to center as well. Uncrossing the legs, taking a moment just to realign yourself in the center. Sometimes we get a little bit wiggly when we're doing spinal twists. And then we'll do the same thing to the other side. So if your knees were just together, keeping your knees together and dropping the knees to the right, otherwise crossing the left leg over the right leg. A little firmness in the belly, drawing the knees down to the right side, feeling the position that feels like a good stretch, a good twist for you. Exploring with the head. Is it better to turn to face the left hand, to be more neutral, or to turn to the right? Which feels like the best twist for you? Explore with your knees. Knees up towards the chest. Does that feel better? Is the twist in the right place for you? Knees further away. Where is good? Whenever you find that spot, that sweet spot, and closing the eyes, taking a few deep breaths, relaxing as much effort as you can. After your next exhalation, engaging the tummy muscles again, bringing the head back to center and the knees back to center, and then uncrossing the legs. If you would like a final knees into the chest, you can do that. If you prefer, you can simply relax your legs away from you. Now, if you happen to have something you can easily put underneath the backs of the knees, like a pillow or a cushion or a bolster or the rolled up blanket from the beginning of the class, if you're not covered in it, then it's a really nice thing to do. You don't have to do it in quite such an acrobatic way. You can simply place a little bit of lift underneath the backs of the knees. And when we've been doing back bending practice, that is a very nice, nurturing thing to do for the back when we come to do relaxation, because it provides the same passive stretch of the back of the body here in the low back that we had of the upper body, or the front of the body in our passive stretch at the beginning of the class. It's a really nice way to balance that and round out the practice. You have to have your heels on the floor. Heels have to be connecting to something. And we'll just have the arms resting away to begin with. If that feels comfortable, if you feel a little bit of tension in your upper back, try crossing the arms over the chest and draping the hands towards the sides of the body. Just for a couple of deep breaths, feeling that space between the shoulder blades find its grounding, its connection. And then you can try with the arms wide again. Having the arms away from the body with the palms turned either towards the body or upwards is a better relaxation response energetically than having the hands folded onto the belly. But if that's more comfortable for you, do the thing that works for you. So we're going to start by taking a long, deep breath in and sighing out through the mouth. We're going to repeat 3 more times. Let all of your effort go. Breathe deeply in. Let your muscles begin to relax. Last deep breath in. And surrender down into your mat. Allow your breath to fall into its natural, spontaneous rhythm and fall away into silence. Take your awareness into your forehead. Feel it soften, spread. Feel the area around your eyes relaxing. Your mouth, tongue, jaw releasing. Closing your eyes if you haven't already done so. Make any final adjustments to your posture. Wriggle or wiggle. And then bringing your body to stillness. Take your awareness to the back of your body. Become aware of all of the parts of the back of the body that are in contact with the mat or the floor or some kind of support. Allow the body to feel that contact and to soften in those places, to release, to surrender. The back of the head, the backs of the shoulders, shoulder blades, arms, hands, parts of the back, buttocks, parts of the back of the leg, the heels of the feet. Experience that sensation of contact between your body and the floor. Move your awareness to all the parts of the back of the body that are not in contact with the floor. The back of the neck, the wrists, perhaps some parts of the back, some parts of the back of the legs, the Achilles, and the soles of the feet. Experience the sensation of space between your body and the floor. Allow the whole of the back of the body to feel heavy, warm, supported, releasing down. Move your awareness to the front of your body. Become aware of the space over you, around you. Feel the touch of air on your face. Feel the movement of your clothes on your skin as you breathe. Feel the sensation of holding space in the palms of the hands. The sensation of space between your 2 feet. Move your awareness into your breathing. Gently deepen your breath, inhaling for the count of 3, And exhaling for the count of 3. Inhaling for 3. And exhaling for 3. Inhaling long and slow and deep. Exhaling long and slow and deep. Inhaling long and slow and deep. Exhaling long and slow and deep. Allow your breath to fall in this rhythm for the remainder of your relaxation. Softening the body a little deeper, relaxing with every exhalation. Gently begin to deepen your breath. Bring your awareness back into your hands and your feet, making movements with your fingers and toes. Maybe roll your wrists, roll your feet and your ankles. And when you feel ready, take a long, deep breath in and stretch the arms up over the head. Oh, stretch them up to the ceiling or stretch them away behind you and stretch through the legs. Maybe lift the back off the mat a little. Make any movements that feel good to you. Yawning if you need to. Then gently bend your knees into your chest, hug them towards you. Make any movements that feel good with the spine, maybe turning the head from side to side, rocking around on your back. When you feel ready, rolling to one side and just curling up for a moment, letting the body come round a little bit at a time. Keep your eyes gently closed if you can, and come into any comfortable seated position. With your eyes closed, take your awareness to the back of your head, to your occipital lobe, and imagine yourself standing at the back of your head, looking forward towards your closed eyelids. You can see the light permeating the upper eyelids, the lower eyelids, and you can see the touch point of the eyelids. When you're ready, opening your eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for a wonderful class. Thank you for joining me. Oh, hope to see you next time as well. Okay.